Hi everyone, it's Lisa. I'm crafting from my home today on behalf of the Paris Bourbon County Library. Just keep in mind that we are now open for browsing, so come in and check out some of the books and materials that we have and the ones that you've missed. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this nail polished embossed, I guess it is a little bit embossed, dinnerware, and then we're going to take it another step and show you how you can use this once you have tried this procedure. So let me give you a list of what you're going to need for just this portion of our demonstration, and then I'll give the directions and the list of materials for the second half of the demonstration. The first thing that you're going to need is a container that you're not going to worry about it getting a little bit of residue or nail polish on. I had this plastic shoe box for storage, and at the time it was empty, so I chose it. You're going to need to fill it about halfway or 3/4 of the way full with warm water. Not hot, not cold, but warm water. You need a white dinnerware. You can actually buy these at the Dollar Tree for $1, and that's where these came from. That way, if I made a mistake, it only cost me $1. You're going to need nail polish, not the fast drying kind, just the regular nail polish. And I might need a skewer as well. So here's the procedure for this. All you simply do is you take your nail polish, and we're just going to put some drops in. Now I'm getting to the bottom of this nail polish, to the bottom of it, because I've used it quite a bit. And I'm going to mix the blue. Now you can use any color you want to. I might be running out of blue here. Now you can mix these, you can take your skewer and go through them, or a toothpick and mix them up, but I chose not to. All I'm simply going to do, and you will notice if you look closely enough, this has broken off. So this was a good one to demonstrate on just for the procedure, and then I'll work with this one in a few minutes on another part 2 of our craft. And all you're simply going to do is to take your mug and you're going to dip it. And I'm rolling mine around a little bit. And you can see that it adheres to the ceramic mug. Now all I'm going to need to do is to let this dry for an hour or longer. Now to speed it up, you can use a hairdryer. Just remember that when you get those little blobs, I'll call them blobs, I'm sure there's a better term for them, those are going to take longer for it to dry. So that's the procedure for the nail polish dipped dinnerware. Now to clean this up, I'm not going to set this on my mat. I'm going to actually sit it on a paper plate, and I want it to dry. Now to get your residue, if you want to take your skewer and just go along your edges there, that will clean up a lot of the residue that's left in there, the oils from the nail polish. And there you go. And if you are going to do more than one dipping, I would suggest you get clean water every time. Make sure you get the residue out of your container. Otherwise, if you put this down in your sink, you're going to have some issues. We don't want that in your sink, definitely. If you have an opportunity to go outside, perhaps, and empty your water there, that might be the best decision. Okay, so that's part 1 of our demonstration. I'm going to get off here and set up part 2 of our demonstration. See you in a minute. Okay, everyone, I'm back for part 2 of our nail polish art that we're doing. This is the dinnerware that we just dipped just a little bit ago. Actually, it's over there drying. This is the one that I had. I did dip a plate because I needed a purpose for this. Now, let me explain something. If you intend to use these in the dishwasher and actual drinking, then there is a Mod Podge. This is not it, but there is a Mod Podge that you can get that is dishwasher safe and will allow you to use your dinnerware or this as actual dinnerware. I'm not going to be using this as actual dinnerware, so I did put a coat of clear Mod Podge over the surface just to keep it from chipping off. The bottom one is probably not very dry, but we're going to do that anyway. And we're going to work with it anyway. I have not planned for an Easter craft, so I thought this might be a great opportunity to include some Easter into our decor. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you a list of supplies that you need for this part 2 project, and then we'll get started. I purchased these eggs at the Dollar Tree. I got all of these. They had a little bow on it. The bow did not look very well, so I took the bows off. I put a new bow at the top, and I wrapped the stem with the ribbon, and each of them are a little bit different, but we're going to be using those. I'm also going to need some E6000 or a strong adhesive and my glue gun. So we're going to use a cooperation of these two to make sure that the cup stays with the plate. I'm going to need Oasis. You can see this one's been used quite a bit, but that's okay. It's still good. I do not need my nail polish anymore. I do need moss. I bought the brown moss only because the green moss was unavailable. If you can find the green moss, that might turn out better, but we're going to see how this turns out with the brown. I'm also going to need something to probably adjust the height of my eggs. And so I've got this little set of pliers here, or cutters. And I need scissors. And I believe that is everything that we're going to need. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to make sure that the cup sticks to the plate. And we're going to do that by putting E6000 on the bottom rim. And in cooperation with that, we're going to use hot glue. Now, hot glue is the temporary, and the E6000 is the permanent. And I'm going to have to move this out of your vision because I want to get it right in the center. Okay, now I think that's on there. It'll take a few minutes for it to really get a secure adhesion, but we're going to go ahead and work with this. I won't need my E6000 anymore, but I am going to need my glue gun. The first thing I'm going to do is cut down my Oasis. Let me get a knife to do that. Oasis is used for floral arranging, and this is a great opportunity to just stick that down in there, and that way I've got something for my eggs to stick down into. Now this might be too big. Yep, I'm going to have to cut it down just a little bit. So use your knife and cut it down to where it will fit inside of the mug. And there we go. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be inserting our eggs. And we've got to determine the height of them and so forth. So I'm going to start with one right in the center. I really don't want to make these tall. I'd really like to make them short and mounded. Now I think I'm going to have to cut this one just a little bit. And I'm going to have to rewrap and hot glue. So give me just a minute to hot glue my edge. Hot glue my ribbon down, I should say. You do not have to put the ribbon on there. I just thought it added a little bit of decor to it. And we're going to cut this one down. I pre-wrapped these with ribbon because I didn't want to have to do that on camera. I knew I would have to do a little bit of repair at the very end. Now, quite honestly, the pink is obviously an Easter color, the blue somewhat. So I'm trying to use holiday colors, Easter colors, to kind of give it that Easter feel. And we're going to put one in the front and then one in the back. And we're going to cut it down as well. Easter sneaked up on me. And so I really didn't prepare a lot of Easter crafts. And I love Easter crafts. It makes me think of spring. We're going to turn this around and get one right here in the back. Maybe with I may actually not need to cut that one. Let's see how that looks. No, that is too tall. I am going to have to cut that down. Now we're going to use our moss and we're going to fill in around the top, and I'd also like to put just a little bit around the base of the cup. So let me move some of my mess over to the side here in order to make a bigger mess, because this moss, Spanish moss, tends to be very messy. Now you can glue this in, but honestly here on the top, I think all I'm going to need to do is just put that in there with my fingers. And we'll clean up our mess in a little bit, because as I said, we're going to have a big one. We'll take our scissors in a moment and clean up the extra. Now I don't want to trim it up too much, but I am going to give it a little bit of a haircut with the long ones. And we're going to put a little bit of this moss around the bottom. Just around there. So I think I'm going to have to glue a little bit there. It almost looks like a little nest of eggs. Too much. There we go. Some more glue. And we're going to trim this up just a little bit. Told you it was a mess. It is fun to use though. Let's trim this up just a little bit. Now, if you had any other things you wanted to add, if you had any little bunny rabbits or bows or any of those types of things, you could definitely add those to this. And there we go. I kind of like the look of that. That's kind of fun. But again, just one use for the nail polish dinnerware. Now let me show you another use. This is our mug that we did just a few moments ago. I like the look of it. But easily you could take the Oasis. I'm going to see if we can't do this without making too much of a mess. And I have a succulent that I also bought from the Dollar Tree. Before I do that though, I'm going to put my moss on top. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. I do like the green moss. The green moss that you get obviously is going to add some color. And then we're going to put our succulent right in the middle. I'll trim up some of my details here. And there you go. Another use for your nail polish dinnerware. Now let me get some of our mess out of the way and let's take another look at these. You probably have a preference of the two. This one has not had Mod Podge put on it. I don't know that I will. I may. But those turned out really cute, both of them. The kids would love to help with this, or it can be your adult craft. I hope you've enjoyed this. Think about making some of the nail polished dinnerware. They do have trinket dishes that are very small. They're only about a 4-inch circle. Those would be wonderful dipped in the nail polish, and that way you have a place for your jewelry, your rings, etc. Also add some color to your decor. Let me move these a little bit closer so you can see. And that is our nail polish dip dinnerware. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you choose to make this, please post it to our Facebook site. We'd love to see what you've done, and keep crafting.